Welcome to the CRM emails refresher training. This is our agenda for today. We are going to start with an overview about emails, then talk about segments for contact groups, then getting into how to actually create a new email campaign and design them. I'm going to talk about both templates too, the original HTML and the drag and drop. So I'll give you some examples there. Then we're going to get into the defining recipients phase of the email creation process, talk a little bit about metrics and insights, and then have time for review, and I'll pass along some resources to you as well. We'll also have time for questions then. All right, so I'm going to kind of blaze through these slides pretty quickly because I'm going to get to demonstrate for you this actual how to use the email template in the system. But it's good to have some goals. So I'm going to be in the training environment today, and I'm going to show you how to edit contact group mailing lists, view existing email campaigns, define an email campaign, create an email campaign, and define recipients, and then view those email metrics and insights. All right, so really quickly, why use CRM to send email campaigns? Obviously, you probably know the benefits. That's why you're here trying to learn about this. But why not just send an Office Outlook distro list email? I mean, well, there are some benefits, namely the contact integration. When the contact record information is pulled, it can track that for each contact. You can also custom create contact groups to create targeted email outreach efforts. There's also nice email templates that are standardized across the mission. It gives you a really professional look and feel that you just can't get with an Outlook message. So we also have plenty of these templates contain lots of options for your content creation. And then most importantly, the analytics. You can't get Outlook doesn't have the insights and metrics that are available to you via CRM. If you've attended the public affairs section best practices webinar on email, we talk a lot about metrics and how to improve those. So I encourage you to check that out. I think we have a couple recordings kicking around somewhere too. If you're interested, let me know. I can get you that. Okay, so these are just some quick terms that I want to make sure we all are on the same page about before we move forward. So a campaign, when I mention a campaign, this is specifically talking about an email campaign, meaning the thing that I'm creating in CRM that's going to be sent out to my audience. So some examples of an email campaign: newsletters, press releases, grant announcements, that kind of thing. Basically anything that you want to send from your mission to your audience. Subscriber list. I might also, so this is the list of all contacts who can receive a email campaign in CRM. So every time you add a contact to CRM, it's going to be automatically added to your mission-wide subscriber list. A segment, what is that? Segment is a select group of that contact list, of that huge subscriber list. So basically it's just, you can create a segment from your main subscriber list, which is just, not everyone. Contact group, that's a specifically handmade, hand-picked segment. It's a type of segment. If you create add your members to the contact group and then check the mailing list box, it will convert that contact group into a segment. That's really a powerful, cool thing to be able to do in CRM. And then insights. That's what we're talking about, metrics. That's going to be the reports and data visualizations that are available for each campaign and your campaign efforts overall to view how you're doing. All right, so let's talk about these segments, specifically the ones that come from contact groups. All right. Here's a quick slide about how to manage a contact group. Basically, you go to the contact groups tab. You can select and edit existing contact groups. You can add to add or remove members, and then all you need to do is check this mailing list button when you're editing the contact group. So you can that will activate your contact group and make it a mailing list. Once you do that, you'll see a big mailing list in capital letters across the top of your contact group. So there'll be no no question as to whether you've managed to do that correctly. All right, so these are just some notes about that. The checkbox can be changed at any time. You can turn it on and off your mailing list functionality. And this email segments that are created by via your mailing list checkbox is going to be updated every time that you add or remove members. So it's kind of an automatic thing when you select add or remove new members. So sometimes people might notice that we get tickets sometimes. They're like, oh no, I added 800 people to this contact group for a mailing list. And when I select them as a segment in my, to define my recipients in my email campaign, I'm only seeing 600. What is going on? Well, it could be that sometimes, people have unsubscribed. Sometimes you might not have email as their primary communication method. Or they don't have a valid email address. There's lots of reasons why sometimes the people in your contact group don't show up. But if that is the case, you can investigate further or call on us for some help, and we will troubleshoot that as well. All right, so creating a new email campaign. As I said, I'm gonna show you that in demo right now. I'm not going to go through all of these slides laboriously. Oh, where is my? Okay, 1 second. I gotta find my training environment. It disappeared. So let me show you how I log in to the training environment. 1 second. There we go. Also, if you want a copy of the training environment, if you want to log in for this, so you want to practice, don't want to mess up real data in your real CRM, we can provide that. That's one of our training resources that we can provide for you. All right, good. It looks like I'm logged in to my account. Excellent. Okay, so from here, how do I go about picking my email campaign? First of all, I'm going to show you that contact group real quick to make sure we're on the same page. Contact groups are right here. Clicking through, see, a newsletter subscribers contact group. Looks like they have 5 people in here, and also it's a mailing list. Very cool. Let me click through and show you that button. So I know it's a mailing list. Like I said, remember it has this nice big notification at the top saying mailing list. If I click edit, this is where I can find that button to toggle on and off to make sure I want to select it as a mailing list. All right, saving that. I do want it to be a mailing list because I'm about to create my email. All right, here we go. Click into email. One second. All right. Here we go. This is what we're seeing when we come to the email tab. Our email is run by Campaign Monitor. That's our email client that does this. You should be in your account. You should see campaigns and insights. You likely will not see this listen subscribers tab. So this is just because I'm a trainer. So getting started with email, I can create a new campaign. In the email tab, I like to remind people that the green button means save and go forward. That's always a good that's a good guideline for this because it looks a little different than the rest of CRM if you notice, and it's because it's run by this Campaign Monitor program here. So this is also where on this main email tab you can see it defaults to overview on this tab over here. You have these kind of folders that you can click on to see your email drafts or segment by see sent campaigns or even deleted campaigns. And so if you wanted to go, to a recent draft, you could click through and find them here. You can also use this handy search bar, which is why we always recommend that you name your email campaign something intuitive. You follow a standard operating procedure that you've decided on at post within your team. Something that maybe includes a date or what the subject is, maybe even the initials of the person who's drafting it. Can be really helpful for this search. You can also search within those specific folders as well. So I'm going to go start fresh and make a new campaign, show you the process from start to finish. All right, so first off, I want to say one of our email best practices that you'll learn about if you want to get a copy of that public affairs section email best practices webinar is that you want to do all of your email drafting outside of CRM before you start this process really. It's a best practice because it saves your work. It lets you go through the whole clearance process outside of the system. And it's just safer because, you're not going to accidentally send a half-written email. You want to make sure that you've got all your content cleared and ready to go. So to that end, I have followed my own advice and I've created this document so we can see what we're going to be creating. What I'm going to be doing is working with, it's a little self-serving, I admit, but we are going to be recreating the CRM April newsletter. So that's also a really cool thing. If you're not signed up already, I highly recommend you do. That's one of the best ways to find out the most up-to-date news with CRM and the system, including enhancements coming down the line, training opportunities, highlights of newly trained posts, all good type stuff. So here I am. I have all of this handy, ready to go. I don't have to just on the fly come up with something because I've done the work before. So my campaign name here, CRM Newsletter April 2021. I'm just going to copy and paste, and this is how we're going to do it. Campaign name. I'm going to also put my initials so people know it's me. This is not like the real CRM newsletter because it already went out. Next, my subject line. Here we go. Oops, make sure I don't get the space in front. So when you're doing this, so it automatically repopulates the subject line is the campaign name. You always want to update the subject line though. Don't keep it that internal campaign name. So when you're working on subject lines, you want to make sure that you don't have excessive punctuation. We've heard that there's been some people have experienced deliverability problems. Another thing we talk about at length in the past webinar. Basically, that means the email campaigns are not hitting inboxes, which is what kind of the whole point. But that could be because we're not customizing enough of our not paying attention enough to the subject line. Even we had that with the CRM newsletter. We're trying something different with this kind of vertical line here because we noticed that even having a colon kind of maybe affected the deliverability rates. So strange, I know. I got a quick question. It's germane to what I'm doing right now. Can you copy and paste from all applications and programs, not just Word? Thanks. I don't know. That's going to be up to you to discover. It seems if you can copy and paste from a Word, all word processors that I've worked from, even like PDFs often I can copy and paste from. It's really as simple as highlighting your text, I use the keyboard controls. I'm on a Mac, so I do Command-C, Command-V. You can also do a handy one, especially if you're working in text boxes in the template, is doing Command-Shift-V. That takes out the formatting automatically. You don't want to have a lot of formatting being ported over into the email template because you might have a bad time with the way your email renders. But a lot of this is just practice. Seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. Sure. Okay, so we also have this pre-header text that you can include. That's kind of like I like to call the sub-headline of our email campaign. That's going to show up in an email inbox as kind of after the bolded subject line. It's going to be that text. It defaults to something like, can't see this email, view it on the web. So that's actually a chance if you wanted to add more content there. That would, that could be pretty helpful to kind of get your some just more content in there. So maybe I'll do that. I'll say email deliverability tips and breaking my own rule. I should have all this content ready. Cameroon and CRM and more. Hopefully that's not too much punctuation that's going to affect my deliverability, but we'll see. Who's sending this campaign? Let's head back to this. It was us. It was the GPA office of CRM. Overwrite that. And our from email address, copy that. We don't have to do all, let's see. It's not letting me do that because we already have the domain listed here. So it's like, no, we don't need 2 domains. That would break it. So I just can type it in, CRM office, and then @state.gov. That's filled in for me. You can also use a different reply to address if you wanted one specific person or a mailing, your shared inbox to receive this. I mean, this is our shared inbox, so it's really fine. I don't need to use a new one. I'm ready to move on. Next. After I've defined this main information about like who's sending it and what the subject line is, now I can choose my template. I have 2 options when it comes to templates. First of all, so I'm going to show you. So this has already gone out. This is already we've already launched our April newsletter. So I'm going to show you it actually, what it looks like in the inbox. And I want you to guess what template it was. First of all, it automatically, when you go to this next step, you can see in this, we have a little status bar up here, the campaign, content, recipients. I'm on the content stage. That means I'm ready to start adding stuff to a template. I've already defined my campaign details and such. But when you're here, it automatically defaults to recent emails, which is cool. I mean, if you have you don't need to remake your newsletter layout from scratch every time if it's working for you. But when you're first starting with email campaigns, you want to start with a fresh template, more likely than not. So I'm going to pull up my templates here, and this is where I can see my options. I have the standard HTML template. This contains a nice header, the seal, and your mission name and such. The blank HTML template, this gives you a little more flexibility. It works just the same as this regular standard one, except you don't have the header. Some folks, some posts want to add their own header image for their specific post rather than the State Department logo. That's totally fine. You have the option to do that here with that blank. And then our latest and greatest are the drag and drop template. This template has a little more flexibility, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So let me show you newsletter. Okay. I'm going to show you what the actual finished campaign looks like, or the finished newsletter looks like. And I want you to guess what template we're using. Can you guess? Just put it in the chat. Is it the standard HTML or the drag and drop? Does anybody know? Yeah, Kira. All right, yeah, we got 2 guesses, but yeah, Kira got it right. It's the standard HTML one. So, don't feel like you have to use the drag and drop if you don't want to. This one works just fine. So, both are great though, and I would encourage you to practice with both, see what you feel good with, and we'll go from there. Let me pop back into my slides to make sure I'm not missing anything real quick. We're getting into the designing campaigns part, and I will want to go over the, the basics before I actually get into it. Make sure I'm hitting all my marks here, not forgetting anything. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the drag and drop versus the HTML template. So there's pros and cons, or, not even like pluses and minuses per se. It's just, what they can do and what they can't do. So both of these templates allow you to format the email with your headings, images, button blocks, text blocks, more, all those types of things. But drag and drop gives you some added flexibility. You can customize the font, styles, colors, spacing, positioning, and it's real easy to do because you can just literally drag components from the sidebar. You'll see what I mean when I get in there. and drop them into the position that you need in the template. And you can arrange those, move them around pretty easily. It's more flexible and user-friendly and allows for some more customization options. The standard HTML template uses these radio buttons in the body of the email. You can move around, and it's more uniform, which is fine. It's more standardized. So, if you want to, consistent look and feel, that's why we use it for the CRM newsletter, for example. So, has some more limited customization, but it also has, I think, some other, some other specific features as well. So namely, the drag and drop template is also very cool because it has an undo redo button, if you like using those types of functions. And it also has a a very flexible functionality for headers and footers that are pre-populated with DOS branding. And mission details can be customized. So that's one of the things that was highly requested over time. Can we edit the footer? Can we edit the footer? No, not in the HTML template, but you can in the drag and drop template. So have fun with that. The only downside is, that there's the drag and drop template at this time does not support right to left languages. However, there's a little workaround. Just copy and paste the text into each block, and then just do like write a line for the text. So, we found a little way to work around that, but the HTML fully supports the right to left languages. These are just some quick examples. I will show you some more examples from, when we're getting the system, but these are some examples of some existing campaigns that were done really well by your colleagues in the field. MSC Oslo, have this this nice, I think they're using the drag and drop for this actually. Perhaps for this as well. Oh no, let's see. This one I think is the HTML. Here's an example of the blank one that was used by Alumni Connect, and the reloads, like using the blank one too. One of the cool things that you can do with the blank drag, or I think this is the drag and drop one actually, because the drag and drop has this cool countdown clock, which is really fun if you want to use it, especially like they have here for program applications. So, all right, let's get in it. Let's do it. The time has come. Back in our campaign monitor. All right, let's. I think that since we have this already in the, well, I guess I'll show both. I'll start with drag and drop because we already have the CRM newsletter created in the standard HTML. I can share this with you. You can see how it goes. We can also go back to it. So I will show you, but I'm going to try the drag and drop since it is the new hotness, as we like to say. So I've just chosen that as my template. It is loading, connecting. You saw that. Sometimes it takes a minute. All right, here we are. So you're seeing where my pre-header text is showing up that I added in my first section of defining my campaign details. There it is. And I have, let's see, that's this. I can remove this if I want. No images, click here. That's to view the web version. But I have that option. I can even, I'm having this same issue. So usually you should be able to change this seal if you want. You can remove this image. But it looks like it's not working for me. Sometimes that is a thing in the training environment. But this is a bug. You should be able to remove this circular image and replace it with your own seal. That's one of the cool things about drag and drop. So I'm going to start editing here. So let's just take a look at what we got here. This is kind of like just the thing, the objects, the content blocks that pre-populate in this template here. But I can remove all of this, and I can even edit this footer here. So the way, if we wanted to add some new components, like I wanted to add an image, all literally I need to do is grab this image and drop it in. And then it shows me a place where I could add an image. And just click through, upload, etc. I'll show you how to do it because we're actually going to do this. But I'm going to work with what's here. So I'm going to say, go back to my email text and start doing it. I believe we started, so I'm going to use my header. Oh, I also have it here. This is nice. Bureau of Global Public Affairs. See, I can even copy from my email. I'm just going to drop it right in here. Nice. It even kept my formatting. Embassies and consulates. I'm going to delete that. Yes, delete that block. I don't need it. All right. So now I want my CRM April newsletter. Let me grab it. I'm back on. So what I did here is I created a Google Doc and then just created lots of comments for myself for like links and such. You'll see. So I'm going to drop this in here, this existing header, and it's bolded. See, I didn't even carried over my formatting. So you have every time you're using text, you have these options where you can, look at the fonts, plenty of fonts available. I'd recommend you don't use any weird ones. That is not going to do you any favors. Or you can even change the styles. So like the heading, these text blocks all kind of function the same. You can choose what kind of text you want in there. And also the size. It looks like your regular word processor. Very cool. Also, if you want to insert links, this is what that link button is for. Text alignment right here. Insert, then you have some more options here. Personalization, custom fields. Personalization, that's when just in case you don't know, is when the system will pull the contact information from a contact record and insert it into your text. So it would say something like, "Dear Matt, here's the latest news from CRM." Even if, obviously we didn't write, not everyone's going to get "Dear Matt," only Matt will. All right, here we are. Now what's next here? We had a little, I think that the HTML version used the table of contents, but we can also just copy and paste that in here with our body text. So I'm just going to use this existing text block. I haven't even had to, come on, let me do it. I haven't even had to add anything new yet. I'm just going to copy all of that, or select all of that. My computer's being slow. There we go. Okay, well, there it is. There it is. All right, so it's looking a little too bold and a little weird. I don't love that. So come on, give me my edit options. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. Get my edit options here. Come on. And bullet list. Let's see if that'll happen. Okay, so it's not being so nice for me. Let's see if I can remove some of these extra spaces. My machine is being very slow. Okay, maybe it's just the block. I'm just going to delete this thing and get a fresh one. It'll let me. Oh, come on. Delete. Come on. So we are having our training environments refreshed, and I might be giving me trouble because of that. Haha, got it. Just being a jerk. Yeah, I can't delete the seal right now, but that hasn't always been the case, Ingrid. And the drag and drop, you should be able to customize it. That is a feature. It's not working for me right now, but so it goes. All right, so I'm not going to use these pictures, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete all the crap I don't need. No, not that one. You can also see one of the cool things. All right, Ingrid, please send a ticket to Salesforce support at state.gov, because yeah, you should be able to. I don't know. I was not aware if that was a change that was made by the team. It should not be the case. You should be able to. Yeah. Thanks, Matt. All right, so I'm just going through and deleting all the stuff that I'm not going to be using. Delete, yes. And you'll also notice sometimes I am, you can see these little spaces here. Like, what is that? This is just a white space. That's like the spacer. You want to make sure you have a good use of white space in your email. You don't want to make stuff crowded. So I'm going to leave that there for now. But I'm going to delete these columns, because I want to just use like a full content block to recreate my email here. Delete block, yes. All right, so what's next up here? So we had our, let's see. I'm going to go back and do my bulleted list later since it was misbehaving. So I'm going to use a smaller header. That's my little note to self here. Maybe I can just put it right here because I want to use like header too. And I can delete a bunch of the white space. Come on, let me click through. As you see, here we go. Optimizing. I got to get my H out of there. Got to scroll down a little bit, make sure I got the right view. There we go. All right, so, and then now I have my text ready to go. Optimizing email deliverability. That's another cool thing about our use of this email, of this our newsletter this month, is that it has a lot to do with email. So if you want to get a copy, I recommend you sign up, and I can always send it to you too. So let me know if you want to, and I can forward it to you if you're not a current subscriber. All right, I'm gonna just paste that in. Actually, I'm gonna try to do my format free space. It's somehow showing up bold. Nice. So now it's just showing up regular. It's centered. I don't need all that. So do a left justify. Bow. We're in there. Okay. I'm gonna try to use that. I'm gonna try to create my table of contents again because I will not be foiled. Oops, see, look, this little, I need to delete that block. It has some weird spacers for those, yeah, okay, so here we go. I don't want all that. Delete. Okay. Text. Yes, up here. There we go. I'll try this again. And I'm going to do Control-Shift-V. So it's just going to post without any formatting. Look, no bullets that I don't want. And then you have to like mess around. I can add in bullets after, just like that. Very cool. Maybe I do want it bold though. There we go. Very cool. All right. Delete. All right. So this is just a placeholder, I think. So if they want to, I can, delete that as well. Yeah. Close that up. Okay, good. Looking better. Maybe I don't need this white space. So, the point is that I'm showing you here, I'm not going to necessarily have to go through all this thing, in the interest of time. Point is, much more annoying if you don't have all your content ready. Also, like, you have to go through and customize this. Oh, look, maybe I want a little more white space. Come on. But it's just that easy, just that simple. Let's see what else I got here. I have a improve email deliverability QRG link. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that and show you how I put a link in text. Over here, find where that is, improve email availability QRG, insert my link. All I need to do is paste that link right in there. I'm going to go all the way to the top, make sure I've got the whole HTTPS, the whole thing, and now it's ready. All right. So maybe, okay. So next, we got our next, I'm just going to do maybe one more of these, make sure we have our, so I can add some photos so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so next is the next heading, Mission Cameroon Training. This was very cool. So let's add a text block, throw it in here, scroll down. I want to add some space too. I don't want to get it too crammed with my other text block. There it is. Dropping that in there. I'm going to make that header 2 and make it centered. There we go. I'm also going to delete this button block. I don't need this right now. I'll come back to that later. Delete. Okay. Here we are. Come on. So another fun, read annoying thing about the template is there are these 2 scroll bars on the right hand side. People are like, I can't see the this and that on my email. This is because you have to navigate these 2 scroll bars to make sure that your view on the screen is where you want it. So just an FYI. All right, so I'm going to add another text block under here. Grab my email text. I'm just going to grab all of that, drop it in there, and I'll go back and do the pictures. Here we are. Add some paragraph breaks. So all this formatting, it seems really tedious, and I'm not saying it's not, but it's so important. Oops, wait, where did I add that space? I think I did add that down there. Well, one of the cool things is I can grab those spaces and move them up and move them around. So what I want to do now is, where's my image? Okay, that's the other thing down here. You can add sections. So let me get that image. Now, it's very important to note that you don't want too many images in your email, because that'll also affect your deliverability. All right, so I'm in my image thing here. I can now upload. I just want to use these options on the left-hand side. Upload image. Okay, now I'm going to go to my folder where I have all these images. There we go. I'm just going to add one of these. All right, so I can even make these images a link. Very cool. So I'm not going to, but I'm going to add alt text. Alt text is a very important thing that is about accessibility. So it's about for folks who are using screen readers who are not able to view pictures online. You want to add a description of the image. So my alt text here is 5 people with masks in a conference room training on the screen. So I'm just going to maybe add that one image there. Maybe I'll shrink this white space a little bit. Don't need all that. Perfect. Now I can add in my links, my tracker map, copy, heading back over, finding where that is in the text, right here, highlighting that, paste. Next one, CRM email. This is our office email. All right, so if you want to, you can even make an email, a link, so that it will pop up with a new message in someone's email client. And the really easy way to do that is clicking on this, and all you need to do is type mail to, no space, with the colon, still no space, and then paste in the email address you want to use. There we go. So see what I mean? Like if I click, well, you'll see. You can see in the real one. It'll pop up a new email. And the last one, CRM HQ chatter group, which you are all a member of if you're an active user of CRM. Add that link. Okay. Link, here we go, drop it in. Okay, awesome. So we have our links. I think that next what I'd want to do is then add my text again, and add my next header. So this is all well and good. We're not going to spend. I think the best use of our time is not to use all of these. Have me recreate the whole thing, but you see what it takes. So you should have this all prepared. Before all of your content outside of this system ready to go. For now, so maybe you don't want to complete it all in one sitting. You can just go ahead, click that green button, preview, and that's going to save your progress so far. And then if you continue with the green buttons to define recipients, perhaps I'm not ready yet, but we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Let me pop back into my, actually, I'm going to go back to the main campaigns page and see if I can't switch this. Here's my draft. I want to see if I can switch to the template, to change my template from drag and drop to the original one, because I did promise you all that I would show both. So let's go to my templates here. Here, I'm going to go the standard. Yeah, I'm going to switch. All right, so the problem is when you switch your templates is that you will have to recreate the content. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I can show you some. So the thing is that you'll notice immediately is that there's no hope of changing this logo here, and you can't change this text up here in this header. That's just going to be static. However, if you want to edit something existing here, I'm going to say CRM newsletter. I'm just going to type it in, April 20. Run. You can see more options. If you see this drop down, you can make the link a text or add personalization. I'm not going to do that. And then if I want to add like a text block, I'd say add new over here. And this is where I have all of my options. Rather than having it on the drag and drop there, I would just have to add them individually as a text block. Another thing that's a little quirky about this one particularly, if you have drop downs, you need to unselect those drop downs so you can see what you're doing. Very handy, I know. Okay, so let's just start here. Optimizing deliverability. I'm going to go back and put my heading in, and I'll show you that real quick. So I got my text. I'm just going to drop it in here. Add some paragraph breaks. I pasted with no formatting, as we do. I think that was just two. Oh, see there, please. Yeah, there's another paragraph break. Got to check. Here it is. All right, save changes. All right, so say I want to add my little heading in there, small header. It's showing up down there. Ooh, I got to unselect. There we go. Let me grab my text for my header. Copy. Edit. And it'll show up over here. You got to edit over here. Save. And then I do have a kind of drag and drop capability with this little four-way button. I can add that. So I also maybe want to add see if an auto-generated table of contents. No, that's not going to work for me. Okay, so that's just an example. Similar if you wanted to add a picture, image, where is it? You can choose your left image, right image, full image. There you go. And all you need to do is, so it shows this, default image. You'd have to remove the image first and then choose your file. I'm going to do my Cameroon folks in the classroom, just as easy as that. You don't have to use the heading. If you don't want to use the heading of the image, you can just remove it. But remember, you always do want to use our alt text. Scrolling down to find it. There we go. Copy. Replace that alt text. And then, it comes, the image comes with a text block attached to it. You don't have to use that, but, maybe you want to for, for your content here. It works just the same as a normal text block. See, you have all the formatting options. Pasted it right in there. Try to get my breaks, save. So now you're seeing that. Very cool. And if I wanted to save that, I would just hit preview, done. Okay, popping back into the slides real quick to talk about defining recipients. Because that's our next step in the process. Pretend that I finished adding all of the stuff for the email. Now I can go ahead and check out my subscriber lists and segments and contact group mailing lists. So everyone has, all of you will have access to the mission all contacts list. This is just an example from South Africa. Once you click on this drop down here, this little V, anytime you see that in Salesforce, our CRM here, you'll see more options if you click that. And that'll open this list up and you'll be able to find your contact group mailing list there, any segments that have been created, etc. So this slide has lots of great information, and I'm going to pass along this to you when you're ready. After we're done, when you're ready. So you'll have a time to review all of these slides at your own pace, if you like. So this is important though. Deactivated contacts is a segment. So you want to make sure that you exclude them from your email effort so they don't receive that. All you need to do is when you're, after you've selected the contact group mailing list that you want to go to or the segments, you click exclude segment if you want to. If you hover over the list, you can see this pop up exclude segment, and that's when you want to select. All right, let me show you that in the system. So here I am back on my campaign snapshot for my newsletter here. And I've added my content. I'm ready to define recipients. Now remember, I did that contact group mailing list that says newsletter subscribers before this. So I'm going to find that hopefully under one of these. See, this looks like a little sideways little carrot thing. If I click this drop down, that's where I'm able to see everything. So I don't think it's in this one. This is our training environment. So it's going to be under this. So I said newsletter subscribers. There they are. And there's 4 newsletter subscribers, and I can select them. Once I do that, I can click next. And then while this is now I'm ready to send. See, check it out. I have my recipients selected, and now I have, there they are. Now it's not required, like in the email, I'm sorry, in the events module, it requires you to send a test invitation to yourself before you're able to send out to guests. I think it should be the same here. I think you should be required to send a test. I think it's actually a little bit confusing or potentially dangerous if you that they have the green button here and defaulted to schedule delivery, because you always want to send yourself a test. So once you click send test, you can send up to 5 people at once. I'm just going to send to myself. And send the test email. And looks like it was successfully sent. If you wanted to do the full design test, if you know what that's about, this is the design and spam test. This will help determine, possibly your deliverability. It runs this test. It'll show what your email looks like in various email clients on the web, on the browsers, on various devices, even like mobile phones. So, it's running the test, and it runs it through a couple different spam filters. So it'll show you if it'll pass. So always want to do this test. A test, send the test email. But then you don't always have to do the design and spam test, but it's a good thing to do occasionally. So it takes a few minutes to run. We can just leave it for now. If you want to, I just came back to my overview. I'm going to find my newsletter again, come back to it, and you can see the results of your tests under here. If you run that test, I'm going to click through and see if sometimes it just takes a minute to load. See, all right. So I can see how it's looking on AOL, if anyone still uses that. Very neat. Even on mobile. Let's see. Let's check how it looks on iPhone X. So, 60% of people view email on their phones nowadays. You want to make sure it looks good on the phone. So I'm like, maybe this is like too many headings. Maybe I want to switch to the drag and drop template. This is can provide you with some important insights. Okay, last but not least, I am going to talk about the insights. Speaking of, and I think I'm going to actually pop into my real CRM account. Let's see if I can do that. To see some real metrics, because in the training environment, it's very limited. Okay, so I am pulling up my actual CRM. This is not the training environment. This is my production environment. Hold on. Going to CRM here. And from here, I can go to my email tab. So let's see, actually, I think let's see, where is this? It'd be really cool if I could see, I'm going to check out I want to see how our newsletter did. I think this might be, it might be here. Oh, I guess not. So let's actually just check out one of our colleagues, one of our missions here in the United Kingdom. I always love to use them because they've been using CRM forever and ever. So they have lots of great examples. Their public affairs section has, at least. They have lots of great examples about of their sent campaigns and campaign reports. So here I am seeing my overview here. I went to my recently sent campaigns down here. You can click through and see all of the campaign reports. So for example, they sent, it looks like to over 2,000 people, and almost 40% opened it, which is a very good open rate. However, only about 4% clicked it. I wonder if, they don't have, the link wasn't very prominent or what. Or, the readout with Secretary Blinken's meeting with the UK Prime Minister. That had a nice click rate of about 10%. Let's click through and show you what the campaign report looks like. So this is for an individual email campaign. So you can be like, when did people open it? How many unique opens did it get and total opens? These are all kinds of important metrics that you should be tracking. So this is the campaign, like a snapshot, the overview. I encourage you to always explore your campaign reports. As soon as you send an email campaign, the system starts tracking metrics for you. So, what does this campaign look like? I don't even know. Let's click through and see. View this campaign. Oh, look at this. How nice. So yes, they made this campaign here, looking very good. But so this is the link they wanted for register here. Okay, interesting. But then you can have all types of other email reports, like the performance for each specific segment or mailing list. Who is clicking on what link, the link activity and overlay, so you can see the actual email and see who clicked. Oh, it looks like almost 25% of the clicks were on this button. Not surprising. Very neat. You can even see where which email clients people were using. And, that's really helpful for your design tests. So it looks like most people are using, look at that, the iPhone. So you want to make sure it looks good on the phone. Gmail, very popular choice. Then Outlook. So maybe not, don't, feel like you're beholden to design for Outlook. Okay, so another cool thing is in additional individual campaign reports, you can check out insights. That's going to be your performance over time. So I love using the UK for this because they have such great, so many email, they send so many emails that you can really, see see what's going on versus the training environment where we literally don't send any emails from. Okay, so we have campaigns sent. 44 campaigns over the last 30 days. So you can set the time that you want to see your overall campaign performance by. So, a lot of people do, 30 days running total. Another good thing to do would be, starting at the beginning of the week and ending on the same, that same thing, 28 days. So that could, give you a really, a good measure of how you're doing. And then you can see the detailed performance of individual campaigns when you scroll down. But it's really nice. This summary is showing you, how many emails you've sent to, the delivery rates, the bounce rates, and also these trends. Is it red? Is it going down or is it going up? And that can tell you a lot about what kind of emails you're sending and how you're connecting with your audience. You can also look over here to the subscriber activity and see something. Engagement is something we like to point to. It's a really good measure of how you're doing. Kind of just goes here. You can see how active your list is. So the selected period is showing that, perhaps, so it's going down. It looks like there are fewer inactive people there. So that's very good. You can also see this right from here. You can see the email domains that people are using and seeing what their deliverability rates. So you're like, oh, so the delivery, it looks like state.gov wasn't being delivered to. Why was that? Or, people from Gmail don't open it as often. These are, you can really go down a serious rabbit hole with these metrics because there's so much rich information that the system captures. So I could literally talk about this for 2 hours, but I know we're over time now at just past the hour, so I want to be sensitive to that and make sure we have time for questions. So with that, go ahead and ask your questions in the chat. If I'm sure Matt has been fielding any, if there was any additional ones that I didn't manage to see. But while he's doing that, I also have some, you're going to get this presentation and I'm going to, so I'm going to pass this along after. But we have some great resources in this slide deck with the deliverability best practices. We also have our very richly linked document here that goes to all of our quick reference guides and as well as videos. Our CRM YouTube channel where we have a playlist for all of these refresher trainings and more. So